A brutal murder, a compelling mystery, and a trial that captivated a nation. Welcome to the chilling tale of Travis Alexander and Jodi Arias. In the heart of Mesa, Arizona, 2008 bore witness to a crime that would send shockwaves across the country. A successful salesman named Travis Alexander, known for his charisma and vivacious spirit, was found brutally murdered in his home. The nature of his death was as shocking as it was violent, with a staggering 27 stab wounds, a slit throat, and a fatal gunshot wound marking the end of his life. This was not just a murder, it was an act of savagery that gripped the nation, leaving everyone stunned and bewildered. The gruesome details of the crime, the prominent standing of the victim, and the mystery surrounding the perpetrator, all combined to create a story that seemed more akin to a Hollywood thriller than a real-life tragedy. As the news of this heinous act spread, the public's fascination grew. The media found itself in a frenzy, dissecting every piece of information, every lead, every speculation. The nation watched, captivated, as the drama began to unfold. Friends, family, colleagues, and even strangers were drawn into the narrative, each seeking answers, justice, and closure for a life so brutally cut short. But little did they know, this was merely the prologue. The real story lay in the investigation that followed, and the subsequent trial that would become one of the most notorious in recent history. The tale of Travis Alexander and Jodi Arias was far from over. It was a saga filled with chilling twists and turns, revelations, and a shocking climax that no one could have anticipated. In the midst of it all, one question echoed through the minds of the millions who followed the story. Who could commit such a monstrous act, and why? The search for the answers to these questions would lead investigators down a path they would never forget. This heinous act was just the beginning of a saga that would unravel over the coming years. Before the storm there was calm, a story of two people whose paths crossed with tragic consequences. In the year 2006, Travis Alexander, an ambitious American salesman, met Jodi Arias at a conference. Their connection was immediate, their chemistry undeniable. A relationship blossomed, fueled by a shared sense of adventure and an intense physical attraction. Yet beneath the surface of their passionate romance there was turbulence. Their relationship was marked by a tempestuous mix of love and loathing, of desire and disdain. Friends and family of Travis noted the volatile nature of their connection, the constant push and pull, the passionate reunions followed by bitter breakups. In the summer of 2007, Travis and Jodi decided to part ways. It was a breakup that should have marked the end of their story, but instead, it only served as a prelude to the tragic events that would follow. Despite their separation, Jodi continued to harbor deep feelings for Travis, feelings that oscillated between obsessive love and destructive jealousy. They remained entangled, caught in a web of emotional turmoil. The lines between love and hate blurred as their relationship spiraled further into chaos. Travis, on one hand, was trying to move forward, to leave behind the tumult of their shared past. Jodi, on the other hand, seemed incapable of letting go, her emotions teetering on the edge, her actions growing increasingly erratic. As the months rolled on, the tension between them escalated. The calm before the storm was dissipating, replaced by a growing unease. Unbeknownst to Travis, he was living on borrowed time, his fate sealed by the very person he once held dear. Their whirlwind romance was filled with passion, jealousy, and ultimately violence. But before the storm there was calm, a time when two people deeply in love could not foresee the tragic path their lives would take. In the heat of a June summer, a discovery was made that would send shockwaves across the country. A grim discovery that would forever mar the sunny serenity of Mesa, Arizona. Travis Alexander, a charismatic salesman known for his infectious smile, was found lifeless in his home. A sight so ghastly it was as if a veil of darkness had descended upon the sun-drenched city. Travis's body bore the signs of a brutal attack. He had been dealt 27 stab wounds, his throat was slit, and a gunshot wound marked his head. The sheer violence of the scene was enough to make even the most seasoned investigator shudder. The brutality of the crime painted a horrifying picture of the final moments of Travis's life. In the immediate aftermath of the discovery, the police were left to piece together a jigsaw puzzle of blood and betrayal. As they delved deeper into Travis's life, one name kept surfacing: Jodi Arias. Jodi, Travis's ex-girlfriend, was known to have shared a turbulent and often tumultuous relationship with him. Their romance, riddled with intense passion and fiery arguments, had been a roller coaster ride of emotions. Jodi was immediately under suspicion. Her relationship with Travis, their stormy past, and the fact that she was one of the last people to see him alive, all pointed towards her. Yet, nothing was certain. The evidence was circumstantial, and the police had a long road ahead of them. But as the sun set on that fateful day, the stage was being set for a murder investigation that would grip the nation. As the world watched, the wheels of justice slowly began to turn, setting in motion a story of love, betrayal, and a gruesome murder that would captivate the nation's attention. The stage was set for a murder investigation that would grip the nation. In the courtroom, the battle lines were drawn. On one side, the prosecution; on the other, Jodi Arias, fighting for her life. As the trial commenced, the scene was set for a grueling legal battle. The courtroom was electric, charged with anticipation and the weight of impending justice. Jodi Arias, the woman at the center of it all, stood accused of the brutal murder of her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander. The prosecution presented a compelling case. Central to their argument were key pieces of evidence, chilling remnants of the crime that seemed to point directly to Arias. Deleted photos, discovered on a digital camera in the washing machine at Travis's home, were recovered by investigators. One of these photos, time-stamped on the day of the murder, showed a seemingly peaceful Arias and Alexander. However, subsequent images painted a horrifying picture of the crime scene post-murder. After a trial that held the nation in its grip, the verdict was finally in. The jury, after careful deliberation, made their decision. Jodi Arias was found guilty of first-degree murder, her fate sealed in the court of law. This verdict, stemming from the brutal killing of Travis Alexander, marked a critical juncture in one of the most sensational trials of the decade. The conviction wasn't a surprise to many. The evidence was damning: deleted photos, a bloody palm print, and most notably, Arias's shifting narrative. She first claimed innocence, then self-defense, but the jury saw through her stories. The prosecution painted a vivid picture of a woman overcome by jealousy, who resorted to the most heinous of crimes. When the sentence was handed down, the courtroom was a sea of mixed emotions. Arias was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Some saw it as a fitting end for a gruesome act, while others questioned whether justice had truly been served. The media, who had been following the trial with bated breath, seized upon the verdict. The story dominated headlines, online discussions, and television broadcasts. The public, too, was captivated, their opinions as divided as those present in the courtroom. Conversations took place in homes, offices, and online forums as the nation grappled with the implications of the case. The aftermath of the trial was no less tumultuous than the events leading up to it. Arias became a household name, synonymous with a crime that had shocked the nation. The story of Jodi and Travis was dissected, analyzed, and retold, a dark narrative that served as a stark reminder of the potential for violence hidden beneath the surface of relationships. In the end, justice was served, but the saga of Travis and Jodi remains a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of a relationship. The story of Jodi Arias and Travis Alexander, a tale of love turned deadly, continues to echo in the annals of true crime history.